Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having as good of a morning as I am. Terry, good morning.
You know, I'm having a great morning because you're here. I thought you were going to be in jail.
You know, I did too, and then I got to the ballpark last night, and the only way I was going to jail was if I assaulted a security guard, assaulted somebody at the game,
But you're not an assault guy.
or
though.
I streaked on the field.
Okay, and none of
The
that
streaking
happened.
on the field, I wasn't going to do that. And I'm not about assaulting random people. I think it's kind of pointless. But
Right.
there was one guy sitting in front of us. And you know who you are, because I told you who I was.
Do you want to smack him?
Son of a bitch. No good. No good. How do you describe people? These are the scum of the earth people. I'll tell you why. He was getting upset that there were Fire Al Avila chants.
Really?
He was getting very upset. And he told me, stop wasting your energy. Stop wasting your money. Stop wasting your breath. Why come out to the ballpark if we're not going to sit here and enjoy the game?
Yeah, that's what they always say.
Dumb
He
fuck.
must have not
I'll
had
tell
a
you why I
Twitter.
can't enjoy the goddamn game. Because through 5 innings, I have 2 hits. And we're screaming and exchanging back and forth. And it was nice.
You weren't that loud with him last night,
I
were
wasn't.
you?
No, but I would say it was pretty.
No, there's always guys like that. Always support the team. What are you doing here? You should have just stayed home. No, if you stay home, you can't let the team know how displeased you are with them. If you stay home, you're screaming at the TV and nobody listens to you.
Yeah, people like that make no sense to me. A few people got kicked out. One specifically, his name is Kenny. Kenny's I would say, a good friend of the show. Watches a lot.
What up, Kenny?
Loves what we do here. Kenny is joining us this morning. Kenny, could you first at least just show us the shirt that got you kicked out behind home plate?
Yeah, I was wearing a clown shirt with Sheila.
I love it, Kenny.
It says sell the team.
I love it.
Scoot down a little bit, Kenny. We couldn't see the back.
Oh.
Yeah, bend over or like squat. Probably squat. Don't bend over. There you go.
Do a Adham squat when he's pretending to be Al Avila. Okay, there you
That's
go.
perfect. That's perfect. Kenny, I got to ask you. When did you get kicked out? And what exactly did they tell you?
So in the beginning of the game, they said, you can't wear the shirt, you need to cover it with something. So I covered it with a Cade Cunningham jersey. But I was like, you know what? I have the shirt. I told everybody I was doing it already. So I was like, okay, let's just go behind home plate in the 7th inning. Security should be calmed down at that point. See how long I last with the shirt and the sign. And I lasted 2 batters, and they tossed me.
Yeah, I mean, that's Terry, they were...
I think that's brilliant.
I think security that day, and look, I know they're being told what to do, right? So when I call them a bunch of bitches, it's really Al Avila and his staff. But
Yeah.
a bunch of bitches. Like, they were so... it was as if they were trying to protect. It's like they knew John F. Kennedy was getting assassinated, and they were trying to protect him. They had security everywhere. They had security on the warning track, staring down people, looking like, which one of you is going to do it today? Kenny, your shirt's brilliant. Did you have any signs? Did they confiscate your signs?
No, I came into the stadium with a Let's Go Tigers sign and a permanent marker in my pocket to write a Fire Al sign.
Ah,
When I got
smart.
in.
Smart.
Yeah.
See, I should have done that. The next time I go, I'm going to have the front side say, I love Al Avila. And then I'm just going to, like, dance on the Jumbotron.
You know what, Kenny? I like that shirt so much. I wish that shirt was the Pistons' alternate jersey for next season.
Stop hating, Terry. Stop hating. Oh, God. Kenny, Al Avila needs to go. I think you and a lot of people, including myself last night, voiced our frustration. But do you have any words for Al Avila after last night?
Leave. If you didn't sign that extension 2 years ago, I think you would have been a hero.
Wow.
I think you would
Interesting.
have left this series a hero.
Interesting. Well, Kenny, look, buddy, can't thank you enough for coming on this morning,
Yep.
taking time out of your day. Thanks for getting kicked out yesterday. Way to take one for the team. And we'll definitely talk soon. We'll actually see you later today, all right?
Perfect. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome, Kenny.
All right, take
Thank
it
you so
easy.
much.
Big Kenny.
Yep, have a good one.
Big Kenny got kicked
All
out.
right. God bless
They
Kenny.
were confiscating signs. They were taking away. They were telling people to cover up shirts. It was ridiculous.
Well, normally what the Lions do is they make you turn it inside out.
Yeah,
So
there were people with the same old Lions paper bags on their heads. It was. I thought the turnout was good. My frustration here, Tara, I'll just show you some of the videos that happened last night and some of the experience we had. We can start with the chants. We were trying to have a good time. We were trying to have a good time, holding up signs, screaming "Fire Al Avila." I was disappointed because the section we were in, it was a bunch of Tiger fans,
Losers?
and they just a bunch of pussies, bunch of losers, who just couldn't accept the fact, as if I was sitting. It's like I'm sitting. I swear to God, man, I can't. I have to stand up for this shit. Terry, I
Yes.
swear to God, holding up a sign screaming "Fire Al Avila" as if I'm sitting there saying, "Women shouldn't have rights. Abortion, no. We should bring back slavery." It's like I'm shouting something that's completely insane. All I'm saying is "Fire Al Avila," and these people are looking at me what are you? How dare you? What the hell are we doing here?
All right, there are people like that. Let me explain part of the fan base. You should never criticize the team. They just let things roll. They love their teams no matter what. They support every move they make. And then if you step outside of that line, they get pissed. Really, instead of saying, you know what? Here in the city of Detroit, I'm not saying this is a great baseball town. It's not a passionate enough baseball town. But at the very least, they expect this team to compete for a division title, to compete during the playoffs every 5 to 6 years. Now,
It's pathetic.
when you look at it, this quote-unquote rebuild that's over,
It's about to start again.
yeah, it might last another 5 to 6
It's not
years.
lasting. It's going to recycle in the next few days. Westfall, if you can. This was the Fire Al Avila chant that we had going. Weak crowd, but this was, I want to say, in the 5th inning. They were down 2-0 or 3-0 actually at the time. Alex, you can go ahead.
Fire out! Fire out! Fire out!
In the charge with the people.
Is that you with the blue shirt on?
No, I got the tiger suit on.
Oh, okay.
He's got the opening day outfit
Here,
on.
and then
Okay.
let's show the other videos that we had taken last night. It's just general commentary on the game. All right, we've got our Al Avila sign today. Not gonna need this shit. Fuck you, Al. Anyways, hope you're all having a great day. I'm about to have an amazing day. Tigers are down 3-0. Let's hope and pray today that they get mauled, because the chance we're gonna start in right field. God help all of you, and God help you, Al. I'm coming for your ass, bitch.
Such a classy young man.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has it coming. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Do you see me saying this about Brad Holmes right now? About Troy Weaver?
No.
Do you see me dogging Brad or Troy?
Well,
do you see me
they're doing
dogging
their job.
Steve Eiserman? Wow. What a hard concept to understand in this fucking country. Do your job. Do your job. God forbid. You know what? You're the drive-through chick that takes the orders, or dude at a McDonald's. Do your job. Get the order right. But when you mess up for 8 straight years and you still suck, what are we doing here? Look, you're just not good at your job, but you're not good. Move on. And look, I know there's an even bigger issue, right? Chris Ilitch is the one who's keeping him around. But that's not my battle. My battle is there is a fat hippo operating as the general manager of the Detroit Tigers.
And we know your thoughts on fat hippos.
Not a fan.
Not positive.
Not a fan. And in 8 years, right? And look, I can respect and I can deal with a rebuild. I've dealt with the Red Wings at this point. We've dealt with the Pistons. You can deal with a rebuild, and any smart fan base can. When there is a plan, a future, right? You can see how this plays out. One of the biggest frustrations I think Lions fans have always had is, well, what's next? It's like we have a good year, and then it's bad, average, bad, 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 average, bad, bad, average. It's like, where's the good? Where's the great? Well, now you can kind of have that optimism with Brad Holmes in charge. And that's never been the case with Al. I don't recall a certain moment in time where we ever did a show together, and let alone all the previous years before this ever happened, where anybody was saying, oh, man, let me tell you, Al Avila is a good GM. Let me tell you, Terry. Al Avila is a good GM. It's time to thank Al Avila. Actually, there is somebody who said that. There's actually somebody that wrote an article. I forget his name, but it's time to thank Al Avila. Forget his name, and I'm not sure which newspaper he's with. But that article,
are they serious? Thank him?
Yes, here, watch.
Yeah.
Tigers.
No, this is what bothers me is there has been a media blitz to support Al Avila. And I think this is coming from the Tigers feeding stuff to certain columnists, feeding stuff to certain writers. And so it's easy to reach them because if you're a writer, you're not invested as much in the team as a fan is. You kind of become desensitized and you're not a fan. And I was like that. There was a lot of times I didn't give a damn. But you must realize that the people who were paying this money to see the Tigers, buy the jerseys, buy the caps, they got to be frustrated now. Because like I said earlier, the Tigers are a team that you expect to contend at least for the division title for every 5 to 6 years, and to, have like a 5 or 6 year run where you think they're going to be competitive. But Adam, let me fill you in on history. You know what Chris Ilitch is acting like? His dad. Mike Ilitch was like this. Mike Ilitch cared more about the Wings than he did the Tigers. Mike Ilitch didn't want to spend money. Mike Ilitch did not have faith in his general manager, Randy Smith. But what he did is he had a coming to Jesus meeting with himself. He finally said, let me get rid of Randy Smith because I don't have faith in him. I have faith in Dave Dombrowski. Then he started to spend money. He started to say, hey, look, we want to build a winner. Now, when is that going to hit Chris Ilitch? I don't know. It may never hit him because...
Let me ask you then. I want to play devil's advocate. Let's say let's say I support you, Chris. I understand your situation, Chris. Let's say let's simplify it as much as we can. Let's say I agree, and I say
he doesn't give a damn.
No,
you agree with that?
Nope,
Okay.
not yet. Although I do really agree, but devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Let's say Chris Ilitch is now in a position where he's not ready to make that move, right? Let's say he has a lot going on, doing a lot of things. He cares more about the Wings. The Wings are now in a really good place. You don't need to care about them. They're going to handle themselves. It's at the point with Chris where really my question to you, Chris, is, and I don't want to completely slaughter you, but you leave me really no choice. How do you wake up every morning and look at that GM and say, yeah, we're going in the right direction? I'm not asking you to sell. I think that's stupid, actually. I'm asking you to make your company better. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking you to put somebody in charge that not only you believe in, but the fan base can get behind, and the players and the coaches believe in. For us to sit here and have a guy who's been really in this organization since, 2002? 2003? Mm-hmm. No, excuse me, post 2004, I believe. Whatever. Irrelevant. He's been around too long. And he's shown you nothing but failure. Adham, Dave Dombrowski never had a farm system like Al. Yeah, because Dave Dombrowski was too busy trading his assets and getting you to the ALCS and the World Series. Dave Dombrowski was busy winning you AL Centrals. Kills me. Breaks my heart. Because maybe I'm naive, Terry. Maybe I'm too young. I really didn't believe, and this is even before Brad Holmes and company took over for the Lions. I never believed you could get more pathetic than the Detroit Lions have been. The Tigers are really at a crossroads right now. They either make a decision sooner than later and continue on and we respect them, or they're going to go down a really dark path where if you think dogging the Lions was bad, it could be just as bad for the Tigers.
It could never be that bad for one reason.
It's football. It's
There's
different.
there's more passion
Yeah.
for the Lions than there is the Tigers. But let's look at the failures of the Ilitch family. The Detroit Tigers, District Detroit, bad pizza. Even though it sells, it's not really good pizza. Another thing that I've uncovered is, 3 years ago they were talking about an Isaiah Thomas statue. It's not happening. And the reason is because the Ilitch family. That arena is a hockey arena. It is not a basketball arena. And it's very difficult for the Pistons to get anything into that arena. So there's not going to be an Isaiah Thomas statue.
How does that make any sense?
Hey, baby, I'm just telling you what's happening.
God damn these people. Terry, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, did you know that the Detroit Tigers are shopping Tarek Skubal to basically anybody?
Yes.
All right, Al. You want to play this game? We'll play this game. Speaking of playing games, you should probably play on MyBookie. MyBookie, bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. If you want to bet that Al Avila weighs more than 732 pounds, well, the place to do it is at MyBookie. If you haven't already signed up, sign up today using promo code Woodward, and they will match your first deposit. Again, promo code Woodward. When you sign up, they will match your first deposit. Enjoy playing on MyBookie, and as always, if you struggle with gambling or have an addiction, please call 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Alrighty, if you want to go to a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation-sized basketball court, volleyball court, a soccer field, and it can be used for 7-on-7 football, Academy of Warren is the place for you. It has K-8 features, AM/PM latchkeys, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch. They got
God damn it, Fish.
Academy games.
Academy games.
Academy games, K-8. It's small classroom sizes. How do you not? Go to Academy Warren today. What?
God bless you. God bless you.
Spit it out.
Spit it out, damn it.
I'm trying to.
What, do you got a dick stuck in your mouth?
No, I don't think so.
I love you, Fish.
You guys
All
were
right.
talking about stuff like that earlier.
I know. All right.
So did you have a sign confiscated?
Justin, did we have a sign confiscated? We had so many signs. I think one got taken away.
Okay.
It was fun. We had a great time.
Well, you threw one in the trash.
I threw them all in the trash at the end. Yeah. No point in keeping them. But,
All right.
you know what, honestly, all of you at home listening and watching right now, I really want to talk about Tarek Skubal, but I don't want to give the Tigers anything else today. I don't know if I can deal with it. So we're just going to skip it. Terry, what would make you happier? If the headlines over the next 3, 6, 7, 8 weeks were the Lions' defensive front is better than expected, performing well, dominating at times, or if the talented offensive line is as advertised.
Right, and is holding these young bucks at bay.
Yes.
I think for the betterment of the organization, it's more important that we're hearing that the young bucks are doing their thing against the offensive line, because we know the offensive line is going to be good. At least we assume that. We think the defensive young bucks are going to be good, but we're not sure because they're rookies, and I don't totally trust rookies. So I think if we're hearing out of training camp that Aiden Hutchinson, Pascal are doing better than expected, that bodes better for the Detroit Lions, because it would mean that they are handling an offensive line that's going to be pretty good. Now, if we're hearing that on the other hand, if we're hearing that the offensive line is holding these guys at bay and just hold them and having a good, having their way with them, it means they're not as good as we think they are, and so they may not be able to press opponents' offenses as much, and the offensive line is going to be great, which is going to happen anyway. So my thing is, you want to hear out of training camp that Aiden Hutchinson and Pascal they're showing out against this offensive line.
Yeah, what I'd say is I'd agree, actually. I think you want to see your defensive line show out, because if they do, are you really concerned at that point? It's like, oh, well,
no.
That's great news, right? Because it's a very good offensive line they're going up against. Now, could the counter argument be, well, if they're losing to a bunch of rookies, we're screwed? But I think this is a top 3, top 5 offensive line this year. They're going to be just fine. If news comes out over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks that the defensive line, Hutchinson, Pascal, whenever he returns from his, I believe it's an abdominal injury, whenever he comes back from his injury, if Charles Harris, Aquara is still unable to participate still, but beyond the point, if these guys are making noise in practice, it's a good sign. That's what you want to see. You want to see competition. And you want to see, ideally, your defensive linemen getting to the quarterback, because that has been a weakness now for 6, 7, 8 years.
Here's another thing to watch out for. Fights. The offensive linemen and defensive linemen, they fight each other if there's really good competition. If we don't see any fights, it means that one side is dominating the other. But if you're getting these young bucks coming in there, making it tough for the offensive linemen, these veterans are going to say, well, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be vulnerable to these guys. That's when the fights will break out. That's when the competition begins. And some coaches, I'm not sure what Brad Holmes thinks about it, but there's some coaches that don't want the fights. I want them. I love it when the offensive and defensive linemen go at each other, because usually that happens because it's hot, and it's because I didn't get my way all the time with you, and that's because somebody is competing with me. Now, there's 2 levels of workouts. There's a guy that works hard, which is fine, but then there's a guy who's competing, which is better. So you want to see these guys competing, and I think, the temperature some days is going to be 95 or 102 degrees, and that's going to piss me off because we're competing. I think that's the other thing you want to see with these young bucks. Are they going to be able to stand up to these veterans and poke them in the eye or smack them in the face?
I mean, we saw it last season with Penei Sewell. He stood up to Aaron Donald, so it's not an issue
did.
for him.
Said, don't call me a bitch.
I think Aiden Hutchinson gives me that vibe as well. Again, a young, up-and-coming, talented team. I do think they're talented. Do I think they're contenders? No. Do I think they're ready to win the division? No. But the caveat, as Darren McCarty loves to say.
Well, the caveat.
Terry, has this town ever had a borderline, doesn't even have to be a Hall of Famer, but let's just acknowledge a borderline Hall of Fame GM, right? A guy that he's had history.
In football?
In football.
Are you kidding me? Dude.
I know. I'm getting to my point. Have they ever had a borderline Hall of Fame head coach?
No.
Have they ever had a hyper-successful head coach?
No.
Have they ever had a successful head coach?
No.
And that's the difference. We saw what Bill Belichick did last year, right? Rookie quarterback. Spent in free agency on, okay players, nothing game-changing. They found their way into the playoffs.
Had a disappointing 10-7 season.
Technically disappointing for
Lions would have been like, yeah, we would have had a victory parade.
And where I'm getting with that is, if Dan Campbell ends up being top 7, top 8, top 10 in terms of his ability as a head coach in the National Football League, every year anything is possible. That's the reality. Why has Mike Tomlin gone 15 years without a losing season? Why is John Harbaugh's teams always competitive? Why are they always difficult to play against? Why are they always in the running? Why are they always preseason contenders? Chiefs and Andy Reid, Bill and the Patriots, like the list goes on. If he can be, and I'm not saying 6-7 Super Bowls like Bill, but forget the Super Bowls. If he can be one of the guys you look at and say, it's a damn good coach. If the Lions have that, the rest is easy.
See, I don't think the Lions need a Super Bowl to show their fans, because it's been so pathetic around here that the Lions can show that they're competitive, that they show that they can win playoff games. I think that's good enough. This fan base will just go nuts. They don't have to show them the championship prize.
Okay, again, maybe I'm a naive fan, right? I'm only 28 years old, all right?
Yeah, but you're kind of hard, though.
I haven't been out and exposed to the Lions like I would say people much older than me. But my expectations are very simple, and I don't actually ask for much. I ask, like I mentioned earlier, in a 10-year period, give me 3 division titles, maybe even 4 if we're really good. And in that decade, win some playoff games, get to a conference championship game, and compete. I'm not expecting in 10 years to win 10 division titles. I think that is stupid. Now, if you have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and your division is weak, and you just have the greatest coach and the greatest quarterback all together, all right, well, maybe that makes sense. But the odds of that happening, it's an anomaly. It doesn't happen.
That's the perfect storm.
That doesn't happen. Right. But if I told you, Terry, that you won the division this year, you were a wild card the next year, you missed the playoffs, and then you won the division the following year, in a 4-year stretch, is that success?
Yes.
I think that's a lot of success. So I agree. I don't think it's a Super Bowl they need to deliver these fans. I think what they need to deliver is winning. Start winning. Was the Jim Caldwell 11-5 season really nice? I have very good memories from it. I thought it was very good. Very excited for the following season. We all know what happened. And then it was 9-7, 9-7. Maybe for the Lions, like you say, that's amazing. Oh man, we're relevant. But as a naive fan, that's not acceptable. No, like, what are we doing here? Are we trying to win the division, make the playoffs? Yeah, I always use the division argument because, Terry, if you win your division, you are one of the 4 best teams in the conference usually.
Right.
Typically. Now, we have some cases where a team finishes 8-9, 7-10, and they win their division. All right, what are you going to do? But where I'm getting at with this is, if you can win your division, I can take you seriously. 1, you're going to host a playoff game. And 2, you have an opportunity to win the playoff game. I think that's very important. I want to continue the Lions conversation a little bit. We have a very, very special guest joining us this morning, so that'll be fun. But before we go, I got to tell you about the judgment-free zone, and that's not in this studio. It's at Planet Fitness, because we all know how I feel about Al Avila. Planet Fitness. Start today, $0 down, $10 a month. Get to a local Planet Fitness near you, or visit one of their many locations, or go to planetfitness.com. $0 down, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Get started today at Planet Fitness.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Zittis.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, joined by a very, very, very special guest, friend of the show. You know him as the Michigander on TikTok. We know him as Luke, the Michigander, Galganski. What's up, dude? Good morning.
How's it going? Good morning, everybody. Glad
So
to be here.
you're not really close to Metro Detroit, although you're far out.
No, I'm on the west side of Michigan, just north of Grand Rapids.
Wow. Oh, so you made a trip to watch the Tigers game last night?
Yep, gotta support the Tigers, and my wife's got some family over here too, so we stay over there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You've always been a big supporter, so that's always been nice. I gotta ask you, when's the next TikTok video coming out about Avila? Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna see that anytime soon, or not necessarily?
I like to keep things pretty positive, but I think that the majority of
What if it was comedy? What if I told you? What if I gave you an idea?
I'll for sure do a comedy sketch.
All right. What if I told you open your fridge, the pickle jar falls on your foot? That's how it feels to be a Tigers fan when Al Avila is your GM, or when you stub your toe on the corner of a desk.
That's a great content idea.
I mean, just to keep it safe. I don't want anybody getting arrested in here.
Right. No, I like that idea. It's a good idea.
Oh, man.
So you didn't get arrested either last night?
I did not.
No, he behaved.
No.
He behaved.
Wow.
I did not cause a scene.
Okay. I'm proud of all of you.
I gotta say though, there was a good showing from, I would say a good 70 to 100 people were there with the intention to cause a scene. So.
Okay, y'all need to take it to the next level. You need a march.
Yeah, that's what
you
we're
keep talking about. Al Avila's worse than Matt Millen. If people feel that way, then y'all need to march.
Yeah, we're gonna.
You need to pick at the stadium.
We're gonna set up a protest. We're gonna march outside of Comerica. Hopefully in the next, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks. That's the goal. Right before Lions season, we'll get it taken care of. We'll get it set up. We'll get everybody signed up. Maybe I'll rent a hippo. I don't even know if you can do that, but maybe I'll rent a hippo and just go down Jefferson
We need to give
Street.
it a name.
I'll call it Al.
Huh?
I'll call it Al.
The
Al
hell
the
with,
hippo.
The hell with Al?
The hell. Oh,
the hell with
march?
Al March. We need a name for the march.
The name for the march. What was the Millen?
It's the Million Man March.
The Million Man March.
They named it after the Million Man March.
After this season, how many years will you have been with Detroit?
8.
8 years.
8 years. 8 years, and we're about to start another rebuild, and about to trade maybe Turk School. Like, the only thing this team has going for it right now is Riley Green. So they're a disaster. For a name for the march, I would say I would like Get the Hippo Out of Town March. That's always a good one.
It's got to be a little shorter.
A little shorter. Let's do March Against Diabetes, March Against Obesity, March Against Incompetency. Let's see.
There's some people who don't think Al Avila is fat, though.
They're probably fat.
They probably are, but I'm just saying.
Oh, God, I'm horrible. Yeah, we could copy, I guess, the Millen Man March and do the Avila Man March, but I don't know. I kind of want it to be a little different. We have to brainstorm. We have to get everybody in the creative room and just start brainstorming ideas. Man, I'm excited.
My thought with Al Avila, too, is you said that after this season it'll be his 8th year here.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he's had plenty of time to rebuild the team.
Don't say that. Nope. He's chilling. He needs another 8 years. He's got this.
Okay.
What do you know, Luke? He is much smarter than you. God damn it.
I mean, but then you'll get people to say that they've been plagued with injuries this year.
How many of those bats were injured? That's the thing that kills me is the part that was strong for most of the season was injured, but I mean there weren't very many injuries with those 190 hitters. So I don't buy the. And you know who else has had injuries? New York Yankees had injuries. California Angels have had injuries. They seem
Everybody has injuries. That's the nature of the sport.
Who was the guy we got from Tampa Bay?
Austin Meadows.
Yeah, like unheard of this year. I mean, that's an injury-related one, but like Akil Baddoo, just.
You know what? I'm not gonna say Al Avila injured Austin, but everything he touches goes to hell. You can't name me one thing he's done. We were like, oh, well, damn, that was good. Way to be, Al. Way to be. You put us in a better position than we were before.
Right. But I think the mistake people are looking at is just looking at this season. I'm looking at the last 8. At some point, the Tigers in this godforsaken division should be up amongst the top teams. This is not like it's the AL East. This division sucks. Minnesota's in first place at 50-44. Come on, really? And you can't overcome that in 8 years? And you had J.D. Martinez, Justin Verlander to acquire pieces. You've had top 5 picks for however many years. You're supposed to be at least a top 25 team, 25% team. You should be in that upper echelon at this point. The only reason you're not, or the primary reason, is because of bad management. And you have an owner who just doesn't give a damn. It's like, hey, whatever. And what Chris Ilitch needs to understand is this. If you put a competitive team on the field at Comerica Park, guess who's showing up? All these fans. They're going to be listening on the radio. They're going to be watching on TV. You'll make your money.
Look, I want to turn the attention away from Al. Luke, I want to ask you a few questions, all right? Okay. So obviously, by the way, if you aren't following Luke on TikTok, and I guess that's kind of the main, that's your main account.
It's the main one, yeah.
So it's _Michigander. Follow him on TikTok. Awesome content around Michigan, just really things I think we all relate to. I got to ask you, what kind of started this whole thing? What was it? Were you just COVID, bored at home?
It kind of started with that. It was more of a COVID-related thing. I remember doing a video just with my daughter riding her bike, but no, I was trying to think of something that could just kind of keep me busy, and I was like, man, no, what's unique about me? Like what can I talk about on here? And I'm like, well, I'm from Michigan. I guess I'll just talk about Michigan stuff. So the first video I did was what people in Michigan say video, and that kind of blew up. And
I think that's almost at 1 million views, right?
Yeah. And no, but it's been good. I talk about the weather a lot, sports, obviously things that we say, but yeah, it's been a really fun ride. I've enjoyed it.
Well, I love following you. I think you're hilarious, man. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. We're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, the Lions presser currently going on at the moment. We have some footage from Corey down there. We'll ask some questions. We'll respond to what's been going on. But before we go, I need to tell you about the Mulligan, and that's brought to you by Gypsy Vodka, of course. 8% alcohol, iced tea, lemonade, and Gypsy Vodka. Mr. Mulligan is the drink, whether you're on the golf course, hanging out with Terry, or you're at a Tigers game, and you want to say Fire Al Avila. Whatever you decide to do, make sure you're doing it with a Mulligan in your hand. As always, please drink responsibly.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Summer salads and dip shakes. all at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or sunrise ham and cheddar, all on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a frosty hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer just got better.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Terry Foster, man, hope you're having a good start to your day.
I am. I'm a little worried, though, because I'm going to go to the ball game this afternoon.
I forgot you're going down there.
I'm not going to have my signs or anything. I'm afraid I'm going to get rained
I'm going to
on.
make you a sign.
No, you'll be fine.
I'm going to make him a sign. It's going to be pretty big.
Hey, you should never bring the sign starting in the back.
No.
I saw your sign with all the condoms on it.
Yeah, couldn't get that
I didn't understand that one.
I mean, you've done a show with me. You know,
I know there's onesies on there and condoms.
So what I always say about Al Avila is whenever he trades somebody or he signs, the return is always like 0. Typically, I say it's a bag of condoms. Yeah, I usually say you get a bag of condoms in return for Tarek Skubal, let's say, or JD Martinez. So that was the reference behind it.
Yeah,
but I'll make you a sign today.
Right,
Terry,
I'll make you a sign.
The
It'll
ROI
say
in the middle was return of investment. That's
what it was. Okay, we were trying to figure that out. Good job.
Yeah, good job. That was clever.
I don't
Fish, shut the hell up and
mind them.
mute
No,
your
I
mouth.
don't mind them trading Tarek Skubal. I mind
The
that
guy
Al
that's in
Avila
charge. Yeah.
is trading Tarek Skubal.
Oh, God, man. All right, well, we got some footage. Dan Campbell at his presser today from Corey Woods. We'll play that, and then we'll be right back.
Here we are. It is finally here. Training camp for the Detroit Lions is underway. This is Corey Woods, the Woodward Sports Network. As you see right behind me, got the little training camp signs right up there. I don't know when they're going to put those out, but I am here right now for the first day that the Lions are allowing media to be at training camp. And I am just really excited for all of you guys because it has been a long time coming. It's been a long wait. Now we get to see these guys in pads. Now we get to see these guys turn up the intensity a little bit for training camp. But before we go into that, Dan Campbell, of course, had to kick things off. I mean, how other way could it go? And let's hear what Dan had to say this morning.
Two guys that I want to hit injury-wise because I know you're going to ask anyway. So Pascal had sports hernia, essentially, version of sports hernia. So that's what he's working with. He's doing well, but it'll be a little bit, you know. But he's doing good. So he's progressing, but that's not why he's not out there. And then Romeo's doing well. But as you guys know with Achilles, everybody heals a little differently and at different rates. He's progressing, but it's you know, he's on that trajectory. It's just not as steep. But he's doing well. I think I told the team last night our identity and who we are and our foundation is all about grit, and that's physical and mental toughness, and that means taking it one day at a time. You know, that means going a little longer and pushing a little harder, thinking a little deeper, a little sharper. You know, those terms. And so I think that when we think that way and we just worry about what's in front of us, everything else it'll play itself out. So I just try to be me. You know, I've got a lot of energy. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic. I'm just me, and I think that's what comes out of me. So I think that helps those guys. You know, they believe me, I guess, and they feel it, and so they react off of that, and I think it helps, you know.
I'm going to be providing you guys updates all day on Twitter. I'm going to be giving you video. I'm going to be giving you photos. I'm going to be giving you quotes. I'm going to be giving you just a little bit of everything. So make sure you're following Woodward Sports and make sure you're following me, Corey E. Woods, on Twitter. Remember, that is Corey with a K. Check you guys next time. This is Corey Woods with the Woodward Sports Network and Lions IHQ for training camp.
All right, well done to Corey Woods. Shout out to Corey Woods, man. He's crushing it this year. I'm excited for him. It's going to be a big year.
Although I did have to scream at him the other day.
What was that for?
I said, Corey, and I was kind of joking. Corey, the Lions going to win the division this year? And instead of saying no, he went, well, I said, Corey, it's okay just to say no. The rebuilding process isn't to the point where they can win a division this year. You can just say no. Well, I said, come on, dude, really? Don't give me this well crap. They're not
What if I
winning the
told
division.
you? What if I told you that Dan Campbell's a top 12 coach in the NFL at the end of the year, and Jared Goff plays at a level similar to what you saw in 2018? Would you say it's a playoff team? Would you say
they would find a way to screw it up?
Well,
I would say
not
no.
necessarily, right? Because I'm telling you, he's a top 12 coach. He's had a fantastic season.
Yeah, but that's a big if. That's a huge
I mean,
leap.
I think that's what Corey's going for. I'm trying to understand what.
But
the
there's
hell
no
he's saying.
evidence that he's going to be a top 12.
Is top 12 based off of wins?
Yes.
What makes him a
and
top
also
12 coach?
organization and putting together this franchise. And Jared Goff is what he is.
I think. So look, we had this conversation last year. Most of you at home told me that this was a 10-win team. I laughed at you. I told you were dumb. Told you it's a 3 to 4 win team. They ended up winning 3 games and a tie. We're not going to do this again this year. I'm not going to listen to any of you. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. This team, I don't believe, is ready to win the division, but in a lowly stacked NFC, a weak NFC, I believe 8 and 9 gets you into the wild card this season. Arizona falls off. I don't think New Orleans is going anywhere without Sean Payton, so good luck with that. I think they're in a rebuild, but you like to tell me they're not. Tampa Bay's making the playoffs. Green Bay's making the playoffs. Minnesota's making the playoffs. The Rams are making the playoffs. I'm not even sure what to make of the Niners. They've never made the playoffs back-to-back years under Kyle Shanahan. That's concerning. So, the NFC is open for a wild card spot. I think the division winners are pretty set in stone this year.
Yeah, but if 2 teams from the same division are going to make the playoffs, in your words, the Lions going to win the division?
No.
No.
They can make the, like I said, they can make the playoffs
No,
as an 8 and 9
my question for Corey is, are they going to win the division? I didn't say anything about playoffs.
Oh yeah, no, they're not winning.
And
the
he was
division.
like,
they're not winning the division.
You know, I'm like, dude, just say no.
Yeah, no, 0%. 0%.
Okay, thank
chance.
you.
Not going to happen.
I thought I was gonna
the
have to
NFC
yell
just
at you
won the
too.
last 2 Super Bowls. It isn't that weak. Terry, would you
What?
like to answer that one?
What was that?
The NFC just won the last 2 Super Bowls, Terry. It's not weak.
Well,
the NFC, you know what? Do you know what the NFC means? It includes all 16 teams. It doesn't just include the top tier 1. So in the NFC, you have, I would say, 3 legitimate teams. Right? You have the Packers, you have the Rams, and you have the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. Those are your 3 legitimate known contenders. In the AFC West alone has more than the entire NFC. The Raiders, the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, all contenders this year. The AFC in one division has more than the entire NFC. Shut the hell up, guys. All right? I don't like calling you stupid, but you are.
Actually, you do like calling him stupid.
I do. It's frustrating, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Lions are projected 6.5 wins. That's their line in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I think for you to convince me that there's legitimate improvement and that there's a legitimate head coach in this organization at the moment, it would have to be a 7 to 8 win season. That's the only standard I have. Anything below 7, even if it's right at 6, it's tough to look in the mirror and say, all right, through 2 seasons, we've been stable. We've improved, right? Because Jim Schwartz, I'm sure you all remember, 3 wins, 6 wins, 10 wins. Well, you can use that comparison if you want, but what I see is 3 wins, 6 wins, and the team's improving. It has more talent than it has had probably in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And you haven't figured it out yet? Do you give Dan Campbell the 3rd year? Yeah, you do. That's not my argument this morning. My argument is I would feel more confident going into an offseason talking about a coach who is 10 or 11 wins in through 2 years after a 3-win start, and then a guy who has 4, 5, 6, 7 wins through 2 years. And we're sitting here saying, yep, that's the guy. We're going to give him the 3rd year. I don't think Dan can afford to hit the under, especially with the schedule they have.
Correct. And I have a philosophy, and this is based on a 16-game schedule. Then the National Football League, 90% of teams are going to finish with 6 to 10 wins. So even if you have an aberration where you win 2 games or something, you're going to elevate to that 6 to 10 win. Now, I don't know how that changes under 17 games. Is that 7 to 11? Or is it still 6 to, or maybe 7 to 10? I don't know.
It could be 6. It could be 7 to 10, 7 to 11. Look, we talked about this. I told you in a decade period, if you could win the division 3 times, that means you've won the division every 3 years. What does that match? My timeline for success for any NFL team, not just the Lions. I think you can turn around a franchise every 3 seasons, easily. The NFL allows you to do it with the salary cap, with draft picks, with free agency. You have the opportunity. The problem the Lions have is, if Dan Campbell's not the coach, if he's just another Jim Schwartz, Rod Marinelli, Jim Caldwell, that's not winning you a division, guys. And that's the goal. Not the Super Bowl. The goal is to win the division first. Because if you can win the division, I can take you seriously. And I can say, oh, well, you're hosting a game at Ford Field. You have a much...
Well, shouldn't we be saying making the playoffs first and then win the division?
No, because what is that? Jim Caldwell made the playoffs. His 3rd year.
No, I'm saying, but when you go from 3-13-1, I mean, you're not just going to go from 3-13-1 to a division winner.
You'd be surprised the Rams had 10 straight losing seasons before Sean McVay showed up. Motherfuckers have 5 straight winning seasons.
Did he do that with the Detroit Lions?
No. The point is,
so.
Okay, but I don't want to. That's not an excuse. Just because everybody else is doing it, oh, it's the Lions. I don't want to hear it's the Lions. I want to hear, oh man, we're taking that organization seriously now, like we are talking about with Brad Holmes. It's got to happen on the field now. It has to happen on the field. I don't want to hear at the end of the year, if this team wins 6, 7 games, oh well, we're on the right path. Everything's okay.
That's what you're gonna hear.
What I want to hear.
You're going to hear, brother. Not from me, but you're going to hear it.
What I want to hear, if that's the case, if you're going to use that argument with me, what I want to hear is, hey, we expect to compete for the division in year 3. And if you aren't, their head coach is not the right guy. And you could fall a game short in the 3rd year of winning the division. You just missed out on head-to-head, or they got hot at the end and you dropped the game. I don't care. If you compete for the division, that's a good sign. What does that put Dan Campbell now at? 3 years? Hasn't won a division yet, but came real close, right? A game shy, let's say. Well, then going into the 4th year, I think nobody in town should be mad at me for saying this. You fire his ass if he doesn't win the division in year 4.
You sounded, you're not wrong, but you sounded like a guy that was ready to make a decision after year 3. That if he doesn't meet your expectations, you sound like a guy just say, hey, you know what, let his ass go. I think that's too soon.
If the Lions, I'll tell you why. If the Lions from week 1 to week 18, right? If they are contending for the division, they're at the top, 1-2, week in, week out, contending, fighting for that division title, and they just fall short and they're a wild card team.
And you're talking about in year 3?
Year 3.
Okay.
I think that is acceptable.
Okay.
What I don't believe is acceptable in year 3 is a losing season. What I don't think is acceptable is an average season. You don't need more than 3 years to figure it out in the NFL. Zach Taylor, year 3, Super Bowl run. Do I even care about the Super Bowl? No. I care more that the Bengals actually won their division. That was enough for me. And the thing is, Zach Taylor came in, like Dan Campbell, bad situation. He didn't have much success year 1. Year 2, they showed a ton of promise with Joe Burrow. The offense was working really well without Jamar Chase. He wasn't even there yet. Joe Burrow goes down. They lose the rest of their games. It allows them to get Jamar Chase. They load up in free agency. And what do you know? The head coach puts it all together. They win a division, and they make an unbelievable Super Bowl run.
Here's the fly in your ointment. First of all, this is not going to happen with Jared Goff as your starting quarterback. They've got to find that guy. And it might be a rookie or a second-year guy, somebody fresh out of college.
What if it's they draft a rookie this year, a quarterback in the first round, they trade up, let's say, and in year 3, Jared Goff starts and the rookie sits? I think that's perfect. I think that matches your timeline perfectly. And I've seen Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I've seen the young kids come into this league and do just fine. The only thing you're telling me right now isn't, well, it's a rookie quarterback, Adam. No, it's did you draft the right one? We're still sitting here.
Dude, baby boy, the right one may not be there.
I don't give a damn.
Lucky
Your
sometimes.
job is to get the right one. Who knew Patrick Mahomes would be at 10? Deshaun Watson at 12. I don't want to hear the excuses. Josh Allen at 7. Justin Herbert at 7. Fuck all of your excuses at home. I don't care. I don't care at all. Stop with the excuses.
But all those names came through a period where there was a bunch of quality quarterbacks.
Not necessarily.
It may or may not happen again. That's my only thing. That's why
it happens every year.
The Lions it didn't happen last year. Who did you want out? You want Malik Willis?
Oh God, no.
Okay, then.
God,
I'm saying.
No. Last year I meant the Trevor Lawrence draft. Like you have an abundance. Typically every season, there's one quarterback that comes out since the year 2000. Every season, on average, one a year, out of every draft, there's a star quarterback. A guy that sets you up for 10, 12, 15 years. Every year, on average. Some years, multiple come out. Some years, just one. You have the anomalies like Herbert and Burrow coming out at the same time. Watson and Mahomes coming out at the same time. And in those very drafts, you have Tua. In those very drafts, you have people like Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Mitchell Trubisky.
Okay, but if it's one that comes out, you may not always be able to get him.
Terry, I don't care. That's your job, Brad Holmes. That's your job, the Detroit Lions. Your job is to get the right guy. I don't care. I don't care if, well, it's hard to get a... Figure it out. That's your job.
What if the guy is number one?
Look, we're not talking about...
And the team doesn't want to trade.
We're not talking about the Bills right now. What are we talking about the Bills as? Contenders in the AFC. Oh, isn't that funny? Weren't they a pathetic franchise for 10, 15, 20 years almost?
Yes.
After their Super Bowl runs? They're doing just fine now. They figured it out. If all these teams can get a quarterback, and the Lions have proved in the past they could, even though it was with the number one pick with Stafford, but still, get the quarterback right. I don't want to hear, well, in 3 years we might have a rookie quarterback, or in 4 years it might be a second-year quarterback. Well, what does that mean? Justin Herbert's going into his third year.
Are you willing to snatch a veteran then?
No, I think Goff is fine this year and next year.
No. Is he going to be fine in 3 years?
We'll see how he plays. We'll see how he plays.
Because in 3 years, if they're not knocking on the door, you want to get rid of their ass.
Oh, absolutely.
So, are you willing
to bring in a veteran? And
replace him?
Jared Goff and then draft your future quarterback? So here's the thing.
Jared Goff is like listed as number 26, 27, 28 as far as quarterbacks.
Here's the issue I have. I believe in the NFL, there are anomalies, right, where you can draft a quarterback and sit him, and it's successful in the first round. But who is in charge of that? I have confidence in Andy Reid that they were going to figure it out with Patrick Mahomes. Did it take long for you to see the talent in Joe Burrow?
No.
Did it take long for you to see the flashes in Justin Herbert? Did it take you long to see the flashes in Josh Allen? Patrick Mahomes,
no, but it's
Deshaun
taken
Watson?
me longer with Trevor Lawrence than I'd like to see.
But why I'm bringing this up, and again, if they miss, they miss. But why I'm bringing this up is we have the same conversation in the opposite fashion when it comes to Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Some of these younger guys drafted a few years ago. Oh well, Tua. Oh well, he could. It doesn't take long in the NFL. The good to great quarterbacks show you right away what they're capable of.
Yeah, but even Miami they're wishy-washy on Tua. They're not really. This is our guy.
But what's the conversation though? It's like, well, Tua can still work out. Like you've seen some of the plays he made. You just know.
No, that's not the only conversation. The other conversation is Tua could wash out. We're gonna get rid of his ass. That's the other one.
And that's the point, though. You have to invest at the quarterback position. If Jared Goff can be your bridge for the next 2 to 3 years, I think that's good for the Lions. They can draft a quarterback in the first round whenever they choose to, sit him for a year, and bring him out. Just like the Niners have now done with Trey Lance. We've seen it with Lamar Jackson to an extent, even though he started down the stretch. We've seen it with Deshaun Watson. We've seen it with Patrick Mahomes. Even Josh Allen to an extent. You will see this.
Actually, I would challenge. We have not seen it with Watson, Deshaun Watson. They were still a losing team.
Yeah, but they sat him for the first year, most of it.
I know, but even when he played, they're still a losing team.
Yes, but
and
he
now,
showed you talent, right?
Now, yeah, if you can get him without the rape charges on the right team with good coaching, yes, he will explode in this league. But I'm not convinced he's got that yet.
Well, here's the problem with the Deshaun Watson argument. Year one, they're a 4-12 team. You know what they did the next 2 years, his second and third year in the league? The NFL is so hard to win in. They won the division both years. Year 2, year 3, the Texans won the division with Bill O'Brien. Again, I don't want to hear it takes time with quarterbacks. In today's NFL, it's so much faster. It's so offensively friendly. Quarterbacks typically, if they're good, the good ones can walk in right away and just make it happen. You saw it with Stafford early on. He came in, I know he was injured the first 2 years, but you saw flashes. Year 3, bang, 10-6, playoff run. You get to the New Orleans game, yeah, you lost it, but still, you made the playoffs his third year. What'd you follow it up with? Disaster coaching, disaster GM decisions, Eric Ebron. I don't have to continue this. So, again, I think it's very possible. Who their quarterback is not going to stop your timeline, in my opinion. If Brad Holmes is what I think he is, which is a damn good GM so far, very impressed with Brad Holmes, his ultimate job right now is to identify the future quarterback of this franchise and then figure out if Dan Campbell's the right guy for the job.
Right.
That
but
Dan
when
Campbell,
I say it is going to take a timeline to integrate a rookie quarterback, I'm just talking about 1 year. I'm not talking about 5 or 6 years. That first year, he will probably struggle, whoever that rookie is.
That's fine.
Year 2, bam. If you have the right coaching and put him in the right system, boom.
You're speaking my language now. That's it. This is a make good decision after good decision league. You can make a great decision and 50 bad decisions. You know what that is? That's Calvin Johnson. That's Matthew Stafford. That's Barry Sanders. That's a great decision followed up with 50 bad ones. That's why you can never amount to anything. You need good after good after good, some great, some bad, some good, a lot of good, a lot of good. That's how the NFL works. Top of the hour. We'll be right back to talk about the Big Ten Media Day takeaways. Jim Harbaugh essentially announcing Cade McNamara as the starting quarterback, at least going into camp.
And, you know, they had to trick him into saying that. He doesn't want to really reveal that, but,
you know,
they kept pressing him, and he finally was like, well, no.
We'll see. I have an interesting theory on this I want to share with you, Terry. But before we go, I need to tell you about Lady Jane's haircuts for men. I honestly probably need to get a haircut. Look like a goddamn mess this morning.
Well, you're trying to imitate Al Avila, so you're supposed to look a little disheveled.
There you go. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Their amazing stylists will take care of you like they take care of me. Walk in anytime, 10 to 8, 7 days a week. No appointment necessary. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Hope you're all having as good of a morning as myself and Terry are. Joined by the Michigander, of course, Luke. Luke, you asked an interesting question during the break. Which Detroit Lion is under the most pressure heading into the season? And Terry, you know, I'd like to think it's Jared Goff. Not because I'm expecting him to have an MVP year, but I think he's fighting for his career. If he has a down year or gets hurt again, well, what do you do if you're the Lions? Are you forced now to maybe go for a quarterback sooner than you wanted, and it goes against the plan they have in place? Who knows? But I think
aren't you looking toward the future anyway, no matter what he does?
Yes, but we talk about quarterbacks. What is one of the biggest things that you can attribute to a quarterback's success? Situation. What situation they fall in? Right now, if I'm a rookie quarterback, right, I'm selected top 10, top 15. I walk into the Detroit Lions organization. You know what I see? I see a top 5 O-line. I see a very young wide receiver core. I see a very young up-and-coming defense. I see a pretty good backfield. Coaches, I'm not sure about. I don't have answers yet.
But we'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out as time goes on. I think the Lions are a good situation for a rookie quarterback. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, if he can get his life together. DeAndre Swift, if he can get it together. You get these guys healthy in a top O-line, that is the quarterback's best friend. He has a check-down tight end, a check-down running back who can make plays on their own. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams as your deep threat. There is a future here for a rookie quarterback to be successful. There is a future here.
And it's probably a situation he's happy with, because if you can play quarterback and you can really play, you're going to a disaster. The Lions are not a disaster. Like Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence can play, but we haven't seen it yet. And I think it had to do with the Urban Meyer situation. And Jacksonville is just a disaster. And his bloom is going to come out later than expected. But I think he was every bit as good as Joe Burrow. But we're not going to see it for a while.
But can you see it, though? Do you see it in him, his talent, how he carries himself? Do you see the things that give you confidence that it'll work in the future? If I told you that you had Joe Burrow in the building right now, but Joe Burrow, his first 2 years, similar to Matthew Stafford, let's say was injured a lot, played well, had glimpses, but you lost a lot of games those first 2 years. I don't think any of you are complaining much because you can see the future. You see the potential at the quarterback position. Not Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins. Not some of these guys that are just middle of the pack average. Jared Goff even. There's a difference between having a top 10 quarterback. And look, I don't mean to bring it up. I know it's putting salt in the wound, but you know what? Too bad. You're going to have to deal with it. Matthew Stafford leaving, in my opinion, is one of the greatest things to happen to the Detroit Lions. I think it's franchise changing. I think it's that big of a deal. They got so smacked in the face, and so did this fan base, by this dude walking out of town winning a Super Bowl year one. And you want to talk to me about, well, the team was stacked. They had Sean McVay and Les Snead, and the owner, Stan Kroenke.
Screw him!
Oh, you mean they had a good situation? They had a competent franchise that surrounded him with pieces that made moves before the trade deadline?
That's usually the way it works.
Excuse me. Did you know that's how it works, buddy? I didn't fucking know! I didn't know that's how you win in the NFL.
Was that really necessary?
No, not really.
Right.
Probably scared the hell out of that guy.
Poor guy.
Oh, God. Having said that.
What? Let's look at Patrick Mahomes. Great quarterback, right? He's got a great situation. Look what happened to him in the Super Bowl against Tampa. He lost his tackles. I think Kansas City would have won that game. But the tackles are out, and all of a sudden he's running for his life. He's running 80, 90 yards just to stay in bounds, and they end up losing. So his situation changed during the game. So even if you're Patrick Mahomes, you need a good situation.
A team. I don't know a player that wins a Super Bowl without a team. I just don't. I don't. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay. He is the anomaly, but that was still a damn good team. They brought in damn good free agents. They made some damn good moves. All right, what do you do? That's an anomaly.
I got a homework assignment for you.
Uh-oh.
From this point forward until the day you die, I want you to listen to athletes who win the MVP. 90% of them, or probably 100% of them.
I want to thank my teammates.
And you know what? It's not just malarkey. They really mean that, because to be an MVP, you need people around you to support you at times. Yes, you're a great player, but you can't do it all yourself. So they sit up there, and I think it's legit when they say, I want to thank my teammates because they made it. I think that's legit.
Yeah. It's a team game. You show me Bill Belichick, I show you Tom Brady. You show me Bill Walsh, I'll show you Joe Montana, Steve Young. You show me Brian Billick, I'll show you that Ravens defense. You show me Mike Tomlin, I'll show you Big Ben and a very good Steelers team. You show me Joe Flacco, I'll show you John Harbaugh. You show me recently Patrick Mahomes, I'll show you Andy Reid. This is a quarterback, coach, GM league. You have those three pieces in place ever at one moment in time, you are a Super Bowl contender. The Bills have the GM. The Bills have the coach. The Bills have the quarterback. What do you know? The Chiefs have the GM. The Chiefs have the quarterback. The Chiefs have the head coach. What do you know? The Rams have all three. Even the Niners have all three. They're in a goddamn NFC Championship game they have no business being in. The game is as simple sometimes as just making the right decisions and not overcomplicating
That is great.
things.
I want to take you back in the day.
All right.
With the San Francisco 49ers played the Lions, and I was tasked to do a sidebar or something on Joe Montana. So I talked to Jerry Rice and John Taylor, two very good wide receivers, about how great Joe Montana was. You know what they said? What about us? We make him good too. It's not just him. So that goes back to the team thing. No matter who you are, no matter how great you are, you need a great situation. Joe Montana didn't have scrubs out there when he played.
No, Jerry Rice.
He had Jerry Rice and John Taylor.
Yep.
And they, say, hey, what about us?
Troy
We're pretty
Aikman,
good too.
Troy Aikman, Michael
Right.
Irvin.
Troy
Emmitt
Aikman
Smith,
was surrounded by talent.
that offensive line, that head coach. I mean, it doesn't take away from them, though. Like, we only take away credit from the quarterbacks when it doesn't fit our narrative. Right?
Correct. That
Patrick
is
Mahomes
true.
has a Super Bowl. Did you know that? Did you know Patrick Mahomes has a Super Bowl?
No, I never heard that. Yes,
he's
I
won
do.
a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Did you know when he won the Super Bowl? Alongside him was one of the greatest offensive coaches ever in league history, alongside Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce offensively, along with a very good offensive line and a defense that held their own down the stretch when they needed to beat the Niners in that Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is amazing, though. I agree. He's amazing. Who's taking away credit from Patrick Mahomes?
You know who won a Super Bowl? Jim McMahon.
Yeah, but you look at the 85 Bears, though. That's the defense.
I know, but he wasn't good. That's my point.
Yeah, but you can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a division winning quarterback and not be good, not be great. But you have to be carried by greatness around you. That's different. But when you're the quarterback, and most recently, let's say Matthew Stafford, and you throw for over 6,000 yards, and you throw for over 50-plus touchdowns throughout the regular season and playoffs combined, and you end the playoffs with 3 game-winning drives. You've had more game-winning drives in one single playoff appearance with the Rams than Aaron Rodgers has in the last 11 years. Think about that. Like, again, there's levels to it. It's a team effort always. The team always gets the credit. But don't sit here and tell me that. Those 3 functions, GM, head coach, quarterback, aren't the most vital 3. How was Aaron Donald doing prior to Matthew Stafford? They didn't win the division. They were struggling. They knew they needed an upgrade. And they just so happened to land a superstar quarterback who was stuck in an awful situation. Rams got lucky. They did. We got 2 first-round picks from it. I think both teams won the deal. The Rams got their Super Bowl. We got the draft capital. We flipped it into Jameson Williams. We have one more this upcoming season. That may be flipped into your future quarterback. Lions are in a good position, man. Let's get to Big Ten Media Day when we get back.
Let's do it.
Whew. But before we go, I got to tell you about our good friends. Huh?
Are you exhausted? Did you tire yourself out?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
I can go all day. I got to tell you about Bedrock Detroit. Open all summer long from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Bedrock Detroit brings you the Monroe Street Midway. There will be basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art installations, live music, food trucks, and more. Get to downtown Detroit, and remember, the summer is always better at the Monroe Street Midway.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. My goodness, 9:17 a.m. on a beautiful day in downtown Birmingham. Terry, Big Ten Media Day going on. Jim Harbaugh essentially hints at Cade Cunningham, goddamn me, Adam. Cade McNamara trending towards being, I would rather have Cade Cunningham start as the Michigan quarterback than Cade McNamara, but here we are. Cade McNamara named the starter for camp, even though, like you said, they pulled it out of him. Am I going to have an aneurysm this season?
Yeah, you will.
All right.
But I don't think he necessarily said he's the starter for the regular season. I think Jim Harbaugh is pulling off of, he doesn't want to say who is right now. He said that, I didn't say that Cade's not going to start. That doesn't mean that he's going to start. He's trying to be coy. He doesn't want to tip off opponents. He doesn't want to tip off what Michigan's going to do at quarterback. I believe he's leaning towards Cade McNamara. But the fact that he hasn't named him the starter, despite the fact that JJ has a bad arm, hasn't been able to practice, it shows that the competition is still fluid. It's still ongoing. But JJ McCarthy is going to have to show him that he's better at some point during training camp. He can't do that when he's nursing a bad arm. And he's not going to let him elevate himself past McNamara by not doing anything. He's not going to just give him the starting job based on potential.
Luke, you a Michigan fan, buddy? All right. You don't have to speak for all Michigan fans, but I am going to...
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself, but I'm going to address you and all of you Michigan fans out there, all right? I'd like to think most of you think similarly. Maybe I'm wrong. Last year was a great season. You guys won the Big Ten, beat Ohio State. Nothing better than that. You can't mark up a better season than that. Fantastic year. Having said that, and I really mean it, fantastic season. Arguably your best football team in 18 years. Easily. Easily your most successful in 18 years, obviously, since 2004. So, what did I see that pisses me off so much? What I saw was 13 of 19 against Ohio State, 159 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. The interception coming on, I believe, the second drive of the game when they were up 7-0 after a C.J. Stroud turnover. and they could have scored. They were in the red zone. They could have scored, and instead of running the ball like they had success on the first drive, they decided to let the kid throw the football. He threw a pick. They took it out of his hands the rest of the game. They dominated at the line of scrimmage. Michigan won in a beautiful way. Was that the game, by the way? Beautiful game. Beautiful weather, beautiful atmosphere. What I saw against Iowa was, that wasn't all that good. But hey, blew him out. Didn't matter.
Bloodbath. You didn't have to see much then.
The running back threw a better ball than Cade McNamara did. And then Georgia, look, it's Georgia. They would have lost either way, in my opinion. I do agree with a lot of you Michigan fans. You would have lost that game either way, even if JJ was a starter. But I think, again, gives you a chance. Gives you a fighter's chance. I do think a guy who is a stick in the pocket, well, I shouldn't say a stick, a rock in the pocket, who isn't going to move, past Jordan Davis or any of those linebackers coming after you, who isn't going to beat the edge rushers. That's a tough ask. And you guys ask me, well, how did Clemson become a national powerhouse? Deshaun Watson. And then they went and got Trevor Lawrence. Ohio State, mobile quarterbacks who could throw the football. Alabama, mobile quarterbacks. Tua, Jalen, now Bryce. Guys, I'm not asking for you to change your ways completely. But hey, just so you know, the teams that are contending year in and year out at the top are doing it this way. And you have a kid on the bench who could allow you to mimic that way. And again, I'm not asking for the Big Ten title every year. If you won the Big Ten title every other year, in my eyes, you are a hyper-successful program, especially going up head-to-head against Ohio State. But your call. I'm not asking for JJ just because he's better, and we all know it. We all seen the throws. He has a much better arm than Cade does. He can drive the ball downfield better. And now I'm not talking the long shots. I'm talking intermediate, medium routes, dig routes, in routes, out routes, comeback routes, whatever it is. He throws a better ball. You need those plays, not just the drop back. Eric all over the middle, 3 yards downfield, makes two Penn State guys hit each other, and he takes it to the end zone, and you win. Like you want to rely on that, be my guest. And
that's Michigan football.
And you want to conveniently bring up that the fumble against Michigan State. That's not what lost you the game. What lost you the game?
It didn't help.
It didn't help. But you know what lost you the game? You know what lost you the game? Your defense didn't show up that day. And you know what's funny? When your defense showed up, at any point other than Michigan State and Georgia that year, you won every game. What do you know? You know what else happened in Michigan State? Cade McNamara threw 2 balls, overthrown them in the red zone. That would have resulted in touchdowns to bring it back to a 2-score lead. He failed to do that. Luke?
Do you think Jim Harbaugh is trying to squeeze as much juice out of Cade and JJ as he can without just starting one and sitting one?
I think, if I'm honest, I think what Jim sees in Cade is 10 wins, easily. Minimum 9. I think he sees a 10-win season and a chance to beat Ohio State. And Michigan fans aren't wrong when they tell me that Cade McNamara is the Big Ten starting Big Ten championship quarterback. He was the quarterback and the only quarterback since in the last 8, 9, 10 years to beat an Ohio State football team. That is all true. He's also the guy that got credit for that win, not throwing a touchdown, an interception, 13 of 19, 150 yards. That guy. When you ran for 300 yards, and you, for the first time, Michigan, for the first time since 2017, your defense shut out Ohio State for 1 quarter. You did that. But Cade McNamara is a Big Ten championship winning quarterback. He's the guy that beat Ohio State. We're so naive. I don't know, Luke. I don't know what to tell you guys.
I don't think it's being naive. I think it's you're playing. This is what Michigan does. They play the percentages. Michigan, when they step on the field, 90% of the time they feel they have the best team. And this has been going on for decades and decades. And Jim Harbaugh, when you look at what he's done at Stanford, what he's done to a certain extent in the NFL, and what he's done in Michigan, his whole thing is, let's control the clock, let's run the football, let's be safe as far as quarterback play.
But doesn't that win you 10 games every year, Luke? It does, especially with the schedule they have this year, 8 home games. Yep. You're winning 10 games running the football. Are you beating Ohio State in Columbus?
I mean, I think their defense does take a step back with Adham being gone.
And they lost Dax Hill, Ajabo. You lost your defensive coordinator to Baltimore. who's been your best defensive coordinator in the last 20, 25 years easily. You lost your OC. I'm really concerned for Michigan because, again, I'm not just looking at this season. If I'm a 5-star recruit, why the hell would I come here? If I'm even a 4-star, why would I come here? Offensively. Your last offensively skilled position player, drafted in the first round, Braylon Edwards. Braylon does a show here now. You know how long
and he's
ago
got
that
gray
was?
hair.
He's got gray hair, and his golf game is okay. Allegedly. Like, I don't know. I think more. I want more for Michigan. I really do. That's what really drives my frustration. But if you're going to play we're going to start McNamara, and if we lose a game early on, we'll switch to...
What more can you get out of Michigan?
What more?
What more?
I believe Michigan, in my opinion, more than any other team outside of Ohio State in the Big Ten, Michigan easily can turn into a national powerhouse like in Ohio State, where they're dominating the recruiting cycle. They're top 5, top 6 every year. I easily believe that because of the brand, the money they have now to invest in NIL. It's all there for them. Michigan State's trying to do it. But at least
Michigan is saying, we don't really, well, they're not really embracing NIL. I don't think Michigan is really interested. The Michigan is not capable of that.
But when you ask me, what am I seeing more? That's what I see for them. That's what I see for Michigan. I see Michigan as your go-to destination. The problem is, again, if I'm Smith and Jimba, I'm C.J. Stroud. Would I rather play at Ohio State in a spread offense? Or would I rather go to Michigan and run the football 40 times? Like, and again, there are multiple ways to win in football. I'm not going to tell you how to win football games. Michigan has won a lot of football games. Top 10 since Harbaugh has been in charge. But you're going to win the big games? You won one big game so far. You beat Ohio State. That's your accomplishment under Jim Harbaugh's time. That's it. And the Big Ten title. 7 years. That's what you have. You're going to go another 7 trying to play this way, in my opinion. Took you 10 years to beat Ohio State. It'll be another 10 before you beat them if you're going to rely on running backs to beat an Ohio State football team. They only scored 27 points last season. Even on a bad day, they put up 27. What is this year? 56? 63? It's concerning for me. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I do have some Lions conversations I want to continue. Also, I got to bring up Avila one more time. Maybe do that a little later. I have to. I'm boiling inside. And I don't know. Maybe I need a venting session.
Now, you were calm a minute ago. What got you boiling now? You see something on TV you didn't like?
No, some fat guy walked by and it just triggered PTSD in my head. I thought of Al Avila right away. So we're going to go to break. When we get back, we'll continue some conversations. We'll discuss Detroit Lions football, of course, get to Al Avila, all the good stuff. 9:50 coming up, of course, mailbag time. We'll answer all of your questions. But until then, we'll see you in just a bit.
Hey, it's Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, listen, it's Wednesday. It's one of my favorite days. We get to talk golf, we get to talk baseball, and we're going to talk some fantasy football. What are we going to do with Julio? You guys got to make sure you join us at 4:30 over at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. You also got to make sure you get over to that app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates. It's the best place to check all the odds and sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, let's get that winner. That's what we want. Fun coupons. That's what we're here for. So listen, today I'm rolling with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays minus the 1.5 against the Cardinals. Cardinals got a couple guys that had to stay home today. Also, listen, Wainwright only won 1 start in his last 10. Oddstrader.com, Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you're on YouTube live watching us this morning, make sure, if you're not subscribed, you are subscribed, of course, and make sure you drop a like on the video. Terry,
Yes.
We've seen now, for the longest time, there's always next year. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. With the Lions specifically. What I'm going to ask you, and I know we both share the same confidence in Brad Holmes. I think he's easily already the greatest GM in Detroit Lions history. And
He
that's
is.
sad. And that's sad, by the way. I'm not
is
saying that
sad.
in a good way. That's sad. But I think we believe in the direction it's going. If I were to tell you that you don't win a division until 2026, do you believe that's part of the plan? Or do you believe they don't have the right coach in the building? You know what? Even forget that. Put that to the side. Really, the question I have is, when is Brad Holmes on the clock? And I think it's different with GMs, especially when they show the ability to draft talent, maneuver in the salary cap. But I always bring up Spielman, the former Vikings GM, right? He's been there for quite a long time.
But he got fired.
But he got fired. Why? Zimmer, Cousins. Could never get elite at either position. Eventually, that bill is going to come due. And either Brad Holmes is going to gift the city of Detroit an amazing starting quarterback, elite top 10 talent, or he hand gifts, or maybe it's in the building right now, a top 7, top 8 head coach in the NFL, where they can compensate for average quarterback play. But when is he on the hot seat? When do you look at Brad Holmes and say, all right, dude, it's been X amount of years. When are you going to bring in the right guy, whether it's at quarterback or a head coach?
All right, first of all, Brad Holmes is a little bit in a funky situation. He did not pick Dan Campbell. So he's never picked a head coach for the Detroit Lions. If the Lions are running the way they usually run, he may not have the ability to fire Dan Campbell if he wants, because Chris Spielman and Sheila made the decisions. Other people made the decisions, and they might say, you know what? Yeah, we don't like the progress, but this is my guy. I'm giving him a little bit longer. And Brad, you don't have the right to fire him. You got to throw that into consideration too. Now, as far as finding the right head coach, like I said, I think he's in a little bit of a pickle, because when he wants to make that move, he may not be able to make that move. I feel a lot more comfortable if he had hired Dan Campbell, because then he would say, okay, this is my guy, and I've decided when he's not going to work. Other people are deciding that now. So he's in a little bit of trouble. So what he's got to do is focus on getting that quarterback and hope that Dan Campbell knows what he's doing.
And if Dan doesn't, well, it's not really on Brad, right? So you let that go.
I don't think so. Other people may blame him, but I don't think it's
I think the only way you hold him accountable is if maybe he stays a year too late and it's Brad's decision. But even then, I don't think it would be.
But we'll never know the truth. The Lions are the kings of spin. Everybody's in lockstep. Everybody agrees. This is everybody's decision, and that's not necessarily the case. So we may not know the truth. And the Lions just start floating out stories like the Tigers with Al Avila. Guy's good. Man, his drafts are better than you expected. That's going under the radar for you, but you should be pissed about that, because that's damning stuff. When you read stories that Al Avila's drafts haven't been that bad, they were better than expected, Al has got his handicap, that's telling me that the people writing this are getting that from the organization. And at least in the organization's mind, and / Chris Ilitch, they're like, we're not willing to make a move now. We may not be happy with it, but we're not pissed off enough to make a move now.
You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Articles, and I'm not going to say who wrote them. I don't like doing that. MLive and the Free Press and Barstool Sports. I'm just going to read you the headlines.
Yeah, I just want to hear the headlines.
It's okay to give Al Avila credit.
Okay.
Does Al Avila deserve a mulligan for this Detroit Tigers team?
Bam.
Give Tigers GM Al Avila an A for the work he did in the winter. Al Avila on the right track in Detroit. Why Al Avila deserves more credit.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all articles within the last 16 months. Al Avila on the clock. A look at every move he's made. Why he deserves more credit than he's getting.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
All right, let me chastise you a little bit. I brought this up a week ago, and you were like, you know, and you blew it off. This is a bad sign. This is what should be pissing you off.
It is. Well, last week I didn't take it seriously because I didn't think it existed. And then, of course, you know, I did my homework.
Wake up.
It's there.
Wake
and
up.
I experienced it firsthand at the game. I mean, there were people that were very mad about the signs. They didn't like the Millen equals Avila sign. I got a lot of stuff for the hippo sign that I brought. People didn't like that I was fat shaming him. Told them to go after themselves. So, now that went well. What was the other sign I had there? Avila, Millen, hippo, something else. I don't know.
But you have to understand this. When you go to a game, the majority of those people is my team, right or wrong.
Yeah, good. I was telling them they were
criticize my team.
Yeah, you know so like we were in row C in section 105, so we were like pretty close to the front in right field, and there was always like between every inning there was always a security guard like eyeing our like specific seating section. Just like waiting for one of us to either jump on the field or say something vulgar to kick us out, but
not just kick you out, but beat your ass.
Probably, yeah. But what ended up happening was when we were in the early like front row, when we just were chilling, having a good time, yelling out "Fire Al," the people around us were like super friendly. You know, like I had some old man with some kids. I was watching my language because there were kids in front of me. I was trying to be mindful.
Your language?
I really no, seriously, I really was.
Clap it up
I really
for Adham,
was.
everybody. I didn't know you knew how to do that.
We moved back. We moved up because there was more of a Fire Al Avila crowd in the back. So we moved up there, and that's when things got like personal. There were a lot of people not happy about it at all. And, you know, a lot of people, I saw Sean Belesian there, by the way.
Okay.
Saw Sean Belesian. He's doing very good. He says hi to all of you.
Do you support you?
He is. He told me I'm doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's
good
with
for
them.
him.
He appreciates it, but it baffles me. How do you support? You know, well, we've gotten to a point in society where if somebody's obese and they have diabetes, good for you. Do you? Yeah, you rock that body. You know, we're at a point in society where if you can't even criticize people anymore. If there's a drunk, alcoholic, no good father of three who's never home, and when he is, he just beats his kids. You know what you tell him? Oh, hey man, do you, man, do you? All good. Hey, man, your life, your body, your choice.
Oh, you misunderstood.
He's just misunderstood. Can't criticize anybody anymore, apparently. You can't even... It's like, well, you paid for your ticket. Why'd you come here? Why'd you give them your money? I gave them my money so I could come here and say Fire Al Avila. Can't do it at home. I can only do it so much on social media. So that's why I showed up to the game. And what do you know? The tickets are cheap, by the way.
Yeah,
they're not making any money.
Yeah, they're not very expensive.
It was an empty crowd last night. It wasn't that packed. Right field was pretty packed. I was pretty happy about that.
Well, because the Fire Al thing on Twitter.
So that was cool, but look, man, at the end of the day, everybody in that stadium wants the same thing, including the people like me who are very upset with Al Avila. They want the Tigers to win. They want them to be relevant. And newsflash for all of you watching and listening, nobody wants to talk about a losing team. Nobody. It's not fun. It's not better for ratings or for... It's not. Nope. Would rather talk about maybe being an NFC championship contender. Would rather be a World Series contender. Would rather be an Eastern Conference contender. Would rather be a team that you're considering can win the Stanley Cup. Believe me, it's much better. It's not fun. So do me a favor. If you're going to go to a Tigers game and you're going to get upset because the Al Avila chants. And like you, my good friend, I believe I think his name was Curtis. Curtis, why don't you go suck Al Avila's dick for me the next time you go to a Tigers game? Say what the hell I want. He's a horrible GM and needs to get the hell out of town. I'm done. Sorry.
Here, I'm going to say something nice. What's his name? Chuck or
Curtis? I think.
Curtis.
Chuck.
Curtis,
I don't know.
You should be more upset by the product you see on the field.
Should be more upset. I didn't backhand you, dumb bitch.
I'm glad you didn't, because then you would have been arrested.
I should have hit him. You know, now that I think about it, God, I made a bad choice last night. I should have just gave him a nice slap to the face. Not even a punch, a slap. Just disrespectful.
I mean, that would have been on brand. You starting a fight at
Just
Comerica
smack
Park.
the living hell out of him.
Will Smith smack?
Yeah.
No, he wants more than a Will Smith smack.
No, we want a Will Smith.
That was a pretty good smack.
No,
Okay.
that's solid.
I don't think he's capable of smacking that hard.
Ooh,
we got to
that's
figure
a
that
challenge.
out. Maybe I should join the slapping competitions that you see on social media.
You should.
Adam, you would get murdered if you went on there.
You need practice.
Home run. Dead. Knocked out.
Yeah, but you know who always wins? The fat guys.
Hey, it's a fat guy sport. I'm not saying I'd win. Just saying. I could put in a good smack, I think.
I bet you none of those smack guys can run a sports
do smacks
team,
in
though.
bet count or not really?
Huh?
Do the smacks in bet count or not really?
Unless you're smacking
Oh, that's different.
in the face.
Are you talking about smacking that ass? That's a little bit different.
Oh, my God.
Those are fun slaps.
Oh, my God. All right. We're going to go to break.
My favorite slaps.
God damn it. When we get back, interesting comments coming out of Ohio State and Michigan State. I do want to get to that from Big Ten Media Day.
Wonderful.
But before we go, I got to remind you of one thing. I just want to say thank you to everybody that showed up last night, Section 105, and really 101 to 105. Thank you to everybody who had a Fire Al Avila shirt or chanted along. I just wanted to say thank you, and we'll be back right after this break.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, as always, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Thank you for listening and watching this morning. Appreciate all of you that join us in the morning. Terry?
Yes, sir.
I want to start with Michigan State, all right? I believe Michigan State, who have quite the schedule this year, a little challenging, especially I believe it gets pretty intense for probably a 3-4 week stretch between October and November. But what is your expectation for Michigan State this year? I mentioned earlier they're all in on NIL, right? They're pursuing the opportunity to be a big brand, right? Like a Miami, a Texas, a Michigan. That takes money. We saw Oregon do it. Can Michigan State do it? We'll see. But the point, and really where I'm getting at with this, is I want to know, coming off an 11-win season, Chick-fil-A Bowl, how do you follow that up and say, this was a successful season, we're heading in the right direction? Is it, you have to win 11 games again? Or is there a, 9-3 and a bowl win at 10 wins? That's good, because I have not seen the recruiting classes come in yet where I'm looking at Mel Tucker and saying, all right, it's go time. Do you think that's fair, or are we letting them off the hook here?
I think you let them off the hook. I think Michigan State's expectations this year should be to beat Michigan and to contend for the Big Ten title.
Are they more talented Michigan State than Michigan right now?
Michigan State is never as talented as Michigan.
As Ohio State?
No. But still.
I get it. They've beaten Michigan the last 2 years. I mean, Michigan State's they've dominated the series under Mel Tucker. They're 2-0 against it. But, for one, I think Michigan State loses this year to Michigan. They're not winning in Ann Arbor for a second straight time, and it would be the third straight year.
And they probably will, but you asked what should the expectations be? Your expectations should
always
be
to beat Michigan.
To go into Ann Arbor and to beat Michigan, because that game means more to Michigan State players than it does Michigan players, and it shouldn't be that way. That's why Michigan State's kicking Michigan's ass.
If I told you they finished 9-3, they lose to Ohio State, Michigan, and honestly, let's just say it's those two, and they finished 10-2. All right, they finished third in the Big Ten East, and they go off to a New York Six bowl game, let's say, and they play again and they win 11, or they lose it. Let's say they finish 10-3. Is that successful?
It's successful, but not satisfying.
Okay. Will it allow Michigan State to progress in what they're doing, which is trying to build that type of program?
It is, because the thing about what Mel Tucker is doing, he's got his claws in real young players. And not a lot of people know this, but he's talking to guys who are in the 8th grade, the 9th grade. He's trying to build something solid for the future. I think he's an innovative guy. The thing that we don't know about Mel Tucker is he's very engaging. He's kind of a funny guy, and recruits like that. I've had to deal with the Detroit Police Athletic League and got to meet some of the young players. They talk more about Mel Tucker than they do Jim Harbaugh. The problem is Michigan football, I'm talking about high school football, really that great? The answer is no. But if it does become great, Mel Tucker is going to do some things that Michigan fans are not going to like.
So Mel Tucker and Michigan State right now for the 2023 season have the number 26 recruiting class. Okay. They're going to have to be top 15 to be taken seriously. That's where they're going to have to get. Eventually top 10, again, if they want to be what they're aspiring to be. But you know what's the one nugget I see on this list? I'm going to read off how many teams that are ahead of them based on scoring that have fewer 4-star recruits. Michigan State has 9 4-star recruits in 2023 committed. That's more than TCU, West Virginia, Washington, Oregon, North Carolina, Northwestern, Iowa, Louisville, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Baylor, USC, Arkansas, Miami. They have the same as Alabama, Tennessee, more than Oklahoma, and that's it. So they would actually rank behind only Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Texas, Clemson, Penn State, Michigan. No, not Michigan, LSU, and that's it. They would be 8th in the country in terms of four-star recruits.
Okay, that's great for Michigan State. And the reason is because the way Michigan State has been built is they've been getting these 3-star recruits who are pissed off because Michigan didn't want them, or some Ohio State didn't want them. So the fact that they're getting 4 stars, Michigan State doesn't get many 4 stars.
That's kind of where I'm getting at,
now
right?
They're doing that, and so yeah, they may not be as talented as Ohio State or Michigan
right now.
But if you're elevating that, if you're filling in the gaps where you're getting closer,
that's kind of where I'm getting at.
Motivation and coaching could put you over the top.
That's exactly where I'm getting at. So now I can see early signs of Tuck coming. Spartan Dogs for life. I see it. I really do. And I think he has this amazing innate ability to just brand and recruit and market himself and the university. He does a hell of a job with it. I'm in love with what Mel Tucker's doing. But it's 2023 class that you see the early domino effect, right? In 2023, I see 9 4-star recruits. What about 2024? Will you get 1 5-star, 11 4-stars, and 6 or 4 3 stars? Who knows? That's the future for for Michigan State. I still think this year, next year, and maybe I think the next 2 years for sure they won't be talent-wise definitely where Ohio State is, but where Michigan is. I think in the next 3 years we're going to want to ask the questions: have they caught up or closed the gap? That's probably the better question by then. Fair?
Fair. It may take 3 to 4 years because you have gone decade upon decade upon decade of not being able to out-recruit Michigan. So I don't think a 3-year period is going to close that gap. It may take 4 to 5 years. But if you're in the vicinity, then that's trouble for Michigan.
See, that's the thing, though. People forget. Like, if you go to Michigan State, it takes 4 to 5 years. It does. Why? You're building a brand. If I go to LSU, I'll get a top 3 recruiting class year 1. Even if I am from my family, Brian Kelly.
Mm-hmm. All you got to do is get a southern accent, and you're right in there.
And here we go. We're going to win some games.
Is that really a southern accent? Is that... Yeah.
I don't know.
A Bayou accent? I don't know what that was.
It's the river accent. That's Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. We're going to take a break. When we get back, Mailbag, get all of your questions in the chat. We will answer them for you. And we'll be right back in less than probably a minute.
Bam.
Bam.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. Adam, would you give Al Avila a ride out of town if he was ever fired? I'll tell you what would happen if Al Avila was ever fired. I would bring Terry, a one-legged stripper, to the show. We would have dancers in the background. I would bring my smokes. I would bring the booze. I'd bring the vodka. And we would have we would spend the first half hour of the show celebrating. And I would pay for his Uber. I would pay for your flight ticket, Al, to get the hell out of town. I would pay for it. I'll even buy you first class.
This big party, can I bring some bourbon?
Absolutely.
Okay, bam, I'm in.
Absolutely. Adam, I thought you were leaning towards being a Michigan State fan over a Michigan fan. The way you've been talking today, it seems like you're a Michigan fan. No, I think I'm being objective. Am I not?
I think he likes both programs now.
Yeah, I do. I'm a fan of both. I'm not an alma mater either. I didn't go to either school, so I don't have a commitment to either. But this year, right now, I'm leaning towards being a Michigan State fan for the upcoming season because I really want to go after Ryan and Braylon during the season. I think that's just going to be so fun. And all of you Michigan fans that are so goddamn arrogant, you know who you are.
I think that would be fun.
That is so enticing.
Let's get a rivalry with Adham and Ryan.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
It'll be fun. I'm a lifelong Michigan fan. However, Michigan State has beat Michigan 2 years in a row. There is no gap because the coaching style is on the field. What good is talent if Michigan is too inept to use it? Luke, what do you have to say to that?
What was the question again?
It wasn't really. It was more of a statement like he believes the gap is already closed, even though I think there's a gap between Michigan and Michigan State. But beyond the point, in that it's the coaching and the way they use their talent that is the issue.
I think that in order for us to really believe that Michigan is going to be a contender in years to come. I think the first thing they got to do is they got to get their recruiting class up. That's like number one. But I don't know. Like it's hard for me to say because like I'm not I didn't go to Michigan. Like I even call myself a Walmart Michigan fan. I went to Grand Valley State University. I'm just hoping
a Walmart Wolverine.
I'm hoping. I just want Grand Valley to go Division I, so I can root for them and they can suck for a long time. But no, like I don't know how to answer his question.
No, I get it. It's interesting. It's a tough position to be in as a Michigan fan. I still think there's a gap between Michigan and Michigan State, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be objective and fair. If Lamar Jackson doesn't get his deal done this year, should the Lions pursue him?
Oh, boy.
So,
I like that question.
Based on your hypothetical theory, let's say he is a free agent. Jared Goff, you release him. It's a $5 million cap hit, I believe, in dead cap space. Are you willing to pay Lamar Jackson $52 to $58 million annually? That's my question to you.
That's a lot of money.
That's what he's going to command. And do you believe Lamar Jackson in Detroit will be as successful as he is under John Harbaugh? Remember, I want you guys to answer that question for yourselves. I'm not going to answer it for you.
Do you believe in Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell?
I believe in Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell to be decided. You can't believe in something that's not proven.
If you believe in Brad Holmes and his ability to get players in third, fourth round and to build a team, then yeah, you bring Lamar Jackson may not be as successful here as he was in Baltimore, but he'll be more successful than Jared Goff will ever be.
And that's the case. Is you're upgrading at quarterback. I don't want to hear, well, I don't want to pay my quarterback that much money. That's how the NFL works. You pay Kyler Murray. You pay even Dak. You pay the quarterbacks because if you don't have one, you suck. In Detroit, you should know what it's like not to have a quarterback. You basically went 55 effing years without one until you got Matthew Stafford.
Is Detroit's offensive line rated higher than the Ravens right now?
Yes.
Do they have better running backs?
I would say they're equal.
I'd say it's a win-win.
Oh, they'll be better. Lions will be much better with Lamar. But, again, John Harbaugh, the GM, they drafted him and built that team around his capabilities. They didn't build it like they would if Patrick Mahomes was their quarterback, right? So that's the question you need to ask yourself in Detroit. You have Jameson Williams. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have the offensive line, Hawkinson, right? You have a lot of great pieces for Lamar to walk in and be successful.
So the Lions weren't built around Lamar Jackson, but they sort of could complement his talents. Because you have a very good offensive line. You have a receiver, if he's good, could press the offense, could press the defenses, can get behind the safeties. So you have a team here that could complement his skills, even though it wasn't built around him.
And
so
you also have to factor.
I'd take that shot.
I think you also have to factor the head coach. John Harbaugh is the top 3 head coach in my eyes in the NFL. I only think Andy Reid and Sean McVay are better. He's up there. If you want to put him top 5, you want to put him behind Mike Tomlin, whatever. I don't care. It's irrelevant to me. I think he's one of the best coaches in football. And I don't think you have that here yet. Maybe he is. Maybe Dan Campbell ends up being that. But until he is, I think we're sleeping on the effect that coaching does have on that Baltimore Ravens team. Having said that, I think you take Lamar Jackson in a heartbeat.
Did you say we're giving up a future first-round pick, too, to get him?
If you have to get him? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I would do anything to get the quarterback. Do I think Lamar is franchise? I do.
You have to give up more than one first-round pick.
But my
you may have to go 3.
My concern with Lamar, and it'll always be until he shuts me up, is what happens when you're not faster than everybody on the field? What happens when you take a beating? I need you to throw in the pocket. Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Burrow.
You shouldn't have to worry about that for a few years.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, 4 quarterbacks that represented their conference in the championship game last year. Those were the 4. They can all throw the ball.
Well, bring back Matthew Stafford.
I'm just saying, like, until Lamar proves it and Cavaliers it, tough. Russell Wilson, yeah, he can maneuver, but he's a throwing quarterback. So is Kyler. Like, don't forget, that is always the end-all, be-all for quarterbacks. So that's it for today. We really appreciate all of you joining us this morning. Luke, it was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me on here.
Make sure you follow him on TikTok, _Michigander, ladies and gentlemen, for all your Michigan fun content. I think you got to do that pickle jar Al Avila thing.
I'll look into it.
We got to look into that one. Appreciate all of you at home. Thank you so much. Thursday coming up, you know what happens tonight. The Rats have 2 games tonight.
Yeah.
So if we win both, you know what's going to happen tomorrow, Terry.
Smoke show.
I'll be bringing in my smokes, and we'll be having a good time. But until tomorrow, we'll see you guys.
Bye.